to Franciscan University Presents. This entire program springs forth from the very heart of Franciscan University. It's being taped right now in our communication arts studio. Our students are operating the cameras and equipment. Our panelists, as well as myself, are here at Franciscan University. Dr. Crawford, we've been talking about the Crusades, and I really appreciate you unpacking some of the myths. You mentioned something as we kind of closed out about this apology walk, and I and others may have thought Pope John Paul actually apologized for the Crusades. Could you help set the record straight?
Sure. He didn't.
I like your very short answers.
Well, there's short ones and then there's unpacked ones. He did not apologize for the Crusades. He apologized for things that Catholics might have done that were wrong in the course of the Crusades, which is a very different proposition.
And it wasn't hypothetical. He didn't say he might have done. He acknowledged that there were many things that were wrong.
Right.
Right.
And there were.
You know, the Crusades themselves were not the thing that he apologized for.
They were not.
The abuses.
No.
Yes.
Right. No, did not and really could not, because the Crusades were designed and supported and promulgated by centuries and centuries of his predecessors as an activity of the Church stemming really from the magisterium.
Wow.
So you really cannot, as a Catholic, say that the Crusades were unjustified. You can say that this or that action in the Crusades was unjustified, and that's fine, and I could pick some out and tell you about them.
Right.
Although there are probably fewer than most people think. Yeah. But you cannot say that crusading as an activity is unjustified. The Church has already spoken on that.
Yeah. And also a disproportionate ratio of Muslim violence to Christian.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, when I was in the Holy Land, repeatedly, but earlier this year, you know, it's one of those things where I go with my wife and I have to brace myself because invariably, you know, she will speak up in defense of the Byzantine, you know, and of the Crusaders. And, you know, I just watch and wait for the blowback because from our own fellow Catholic pilgrims, you know, there's this backlash, you know, this was evil, this was diabolical, this was satanic, and then we have to kind of sift and sort and indicate that, no, this has got to be something that we revisit because as a matter of historical fact, there are a lot of misunderstandings.
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
Very
and I think that's crucial because I mean, that's why we're here. Is that there is so much fact
I think
and fiction mixed together.
in reconstructing an accurate historical record, it helps, I think, to invoke this theme of love, of charity,
yes,
which is, I think, at the heart of the crusading enterprise. It's animated by love. I mean, it's a defense of Christendom, which is not a juridical theory. It's an act of love. You want to give to the other that which you most esteem, Jesus Christ. And if he's already assimilated himself to Christ, then he needs to be protected, preserved. And if Muslims are bent on subjugating him to an alien creed, then you know, good men ought to intervene to protect him.
Yes, and you said something important and interesting there. That is that we need to go back and look at what they thought of what they were doing.
That's right.
And you need to do it carefully because it's easy to take a modern mentality back to medieval sources and say, oh, I know what they're talking about, as in the case with full sheriff Short. He said the blood ran this deep, so he must have meant it. No, he didn't mean it. Historians need to be careful and respectful, and they need to approach primary sources, the sources of the time, with humility and listen to what those people are saying about themselves. Why did they do it? What did they think they were doing? Why did they think they had to do it? And if you read Crusade history sources with that level of humility and that ability to listen to what they have to say, you will come up with a very different idea about what the Crusades were than what you find in U.S. News and Time and Newsweek.
And that's what I really